Welcome, everyone, to another episode of What to Stream. I'm Lupe, and I'm here with Jana. How are you, Jana?
I'm doing fine, Lupe. Thank you so much for having me again.
Having
For
you,
us hanging
your co-host,
hanging
your co-host.
together. I know, hanging together.
It's been 2 weeks. We're supposed to be alternating.
Yeah,
So in case you didn't see us last week, I don't think we had one. But anyway, moving
yeah.
on. So we got
Moving on.
some new titles. And the first one I'm really excited to talk about, right, Jenna? We had a conversation with Eugenio Derbez, a roundtable for the HCA, and so exciting to talk to him about this new show. His new show is called Acapulco. It's coming to Apple TV this weekend. And let me tell
Yeah.
you, it's a companion piece to Ted Lasso because it is just so fun and light and just overall, like, just really fun to watch. So I'll tell you a
Yeah.
little bit about it. It stars Eugenio Derbez. He's the producer, writer on this, and stars in it. He is he stars as this millionaire who's recounting to his son how he started out in the business, and he
His
started out
nephew. His nephew.
his nephew, how he started out in the business as a pool boy at a resort in Acapulco, and I forgot the name of the resort. What's the name of the resort?
Las Colinas.
Las Colinas. And it takes place in the 80s. So we get some 80s music. It is so much fun because they play the 80s with comedic effect, with the action. It's genius. So he recounts his time as the pool boy, and he is this young actor. His name is Maximo. He's played by Enrique Arizon. He is so good.
Yeah.
He is like Ted Lasso Jr. He's just so positive about life. All he dreamt about since he was a kid was working at this resort because it's so glamorous and there's, and when the show starts, they talk about how Acapulco in Mexico was like a haven for the celebrities in the golden age of cinema in Mexico and the United States. They would go over there and just party. And so he wants to be, he wants to work at the resort and work his way up. And he just has this really positive energy. And he's got a great mom who's looking out for him, to keep
Yeah.
him
Always.
pure. Yeah, she's trying to keep him pure because she knows, like, she sees that place like a sinful kind of like a Las Vegas-y kind of place, and he's just really excited to be there. And it's just a really really great show from Eugenio Derbez. He just does a really good job at bringing really well portrayed Mexicans on the screen because he was saying on our roundtable how
Yeah.
that's his mission in life is to bring a different viewpoint of Mexicans, and he does it so well here. I love the mom, Maximo's mom. She's kind of like my mom. She's always trying to keep us pure, and she's like, people are always trying to corrupt you, so don't let it happen. And so it's just so very Mexican. I mean, I'm sure Latino because
Latino.
mothers,
No, my mom was the same. She
yeah,
always
they're always
like
trying to keep us
trying.
pure, right? Like we're the pure, the virgins, as the virgin, as the snow. So, and it's so funny. And like I mentioned, they use 80s music. They sing in Spanish. There's at the resort. There's this couple who perform the 80s songs, but in Spanish. And they cut to the action and they play with that. So like you have Eye of the Tiger, and you have some other classic songs, but in Spanish. And I thought it was brilliant the way they did it. Some of the
No.
action, right? And the supporting cast is just phenomenal. We have Damien Alcazar, who is a big Mexican star, and he's here on the show. And the funny thing about the show is at the resort, you have to speak English. So it's mostly in English. I would say like 80% English and 20% Spanish. And it's just so right on the way they choose like which parts are in English and Spanish. Of course, in the resort, you have to always keep it English because it's owned by this American woman. I think used to be like a starlet, and now she
Yeah.
owns and her son is the manager who runs it, and he's a little annoying. But what I really liked about the show that they didn't demonize them. They're actually really decent to their staff. And so I really like that they didn't go the stereotypical route. So Eugenio made sure to, that it wasn't a stereotypical one way or the other towards the Americans or towards the Mexicans. So I really like that. And it's just a really feel good show. There's one character you're probably more attached to. And like Ted Lasso, they all have their personality quirks. And I just think it's a really, really fun show, really funny. So it's my favorite new show. I think I made it to I was going to episode 5, but I was like, I got to watch other stuff for the next day. So yeah, I love this show. It's just done so well. And like I said, it's a companion piece to Ted Lasso. So you can catch Ted Lasso and then catch this because it's kind of the same vibe. So
Yeah.
what'd you think?
It's like those feel good series, those feel goods movies. I love it. I love it too. And when I started watching, I couldn't stop. I was like,
Mhm.
I need to stop. I was thinking just like you. I need to stop watching other stuff, but I love it. I love this idea, the way that he started, and then he's tried to tell the story in a good way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And show us Latinos where we should be. You know what I mean? We're not just like drug dealers or maids or
Mhm.
gardeners. We are like business people, journalists, editors, rich people. We also have that in our country, and I
Yeah, and
admire.
that's what I like about it, that he's telling his nephew, and and it's universal. He's telling him, like, through hard work and just saying it out loud, this is what I want, you make it happen. Like, you have
Yeah,
to have this positive attitude that I'm gonna make this happen, and it's gonna happen. So he's recounting how he, made his way from a poor boy to being a multimillionaire.
yeah.
So I think it's got a really, really good message about that. Like, put in las ganas, like we always say in Mexico, las ganas, tienes
Las
ganas,
ganas, tiene
you
ganas,
know?
and I think it shows him creating the opportunities, like
Hmm.
to grow and how he grows. I love that, and as we mentioned on the round table, is the series shows like the dreams, like everybody has this dream
Hmm.
to become like famous or to pursue a career in anything, but be successful, and shows that. And I think that's amazing, like the costumes, the set, like the
Oh
hotel
yeah,
is
that set is.
very very colorful, which reminds me so much of the 80s. And I've been to Acapulco in was 88 with
Hmm.
my family, and I remember that all the hotels were very colorful. I don't know
Yeah,
right now,
bright.
but very bright, very colorful, and everybody with their hair, with the outfits. So good,
Yeah,
so good.
and I mean, I can't say enough about this Enrique Arizon. He is
Oh my
just
God.
so, oh, you just fall in love with him because of his attitude. He's just so positive, and he's human, and he makes mistakes. But that's what I like about the show, that he's human, and he makes a really bad faux pas, because he didn't have confidence in his love interest. That he needed to protect her, and she's like, I don't need you to protect me. Like, what kind of girl do you think I am? So so
Yeah,
he has a lot of faults as well, because he thinks he's doing something good, but he's actually not. He's just
yeah,
being insecure.
yeah.
So I love that fact that they approach him like a very, very human kind of character. So it'll be interesting to see how. And he's trying not to get corrupt. Like, he's really trying so hard not to be corrupt.
Let's see how much he's gonna hold that.
Well, we see from as the Eugenio Derbez's character that he still has his principles, but
Yeah,
that you have to, because he talks about sometimes your principles are going to be challenged. Like, how far do you want to go to lose those principles?
yeah.
And that's just
To
something so like Latino, because we always, when you're raised, you're like, you have to have principles, and like, don't give up on those principles. So I really just like the fact that it's talking about like all that stuff that we
yeah,
grow up
I
with.
love it, and the
Yeah.
quality is really good.
Oh
Like
yeah, quality is really good. And
it's
the
well
best part though was the
produced.
'80s music. I love that '80s music. I love it so much.
No, it's so good. I'm gonna
Yeah.
tell you, it's so good. I hope everybody love it like we did.
Yeah, so check it out. It's on Apple TV Plus, this
Starting,
weekend on
yeah,
Friday the 8th. So yeah, just go watch it. I think the first I think they're having a sneak peek of the first two episodes are going to be available. I think
yeah. I
available
think
now.
it's
They're available now.
no, I think it's
Um,
October 3rd or
no,
October
today.
8th.
Well, by the time they see this, it'll be on live.
Oh yeah, exactly,
Okay, yeah.
exactly. That's right.
So I highly recommend it. Like I said, it's not 80% English. So even if you're not a Spanish speaker, I think you'll enjoy it,
Yeah,
because it's in English, and you can just totally. It's just a really good vibe.
yeah,
So
I love
check
it.
it out.
Super, 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 super good.
Super good.
Super
All
good.
right. So what else do you have? What's
Okay, since we are like talking about Latinos and Latinos in Hollywood and movies made by Latinos with talent Latinos, I'm gonna highlight one of the movies from this Amazon and Blumhouse. They are creating like those movies for representation with like African Americans, with Latinos, and one of them this time around they released four, but one of them is Madres, which is going to be available to in October 8th on Amazon Prime, and tells about the story of this couple, this Mexican American couple, that she's expecting their first child, but then they move to California in a 70s era. So it's kind of like they're moving from one place to another. She doesn't speak English very well, even though she has a Mexican descendant. The husband speaks Spanish, but they go to California to raise the family. But the wife start like experiencing a lot of like strange symptoms, a lot of like visions, like horrible visions about the pregnancy and everything related to the kid and to the neighborhood, the house, and everything. And then she wants to figure out what is going on, and but then later on she found out that everything is related to a curse that happened in the neighborhood over there. So it's with all the wives and everything. So there is an issue with the wife is getting pregnant and everything that happened. So some of them can get pregnant, and some of them lost the babies. But then is a whole issue. The Diana is the played by Ariana Guerra, which is this. She's an amazing actress, and she portrayed really, really well. And I love the way that she faces her feelings and show like her performance is really impressive. I was very surprised. And the movie was directed by another Latino called, his name is Ryan Zaragoza. That's his first feature. And he was really, really happy to be part of this Blumhouse and Amazon Studios, bringing those different stories to the streaming. And I think it's amazing. Another movie that is in the same, made by Latinos, is called Big Hell. There is already available on Amazon Prime, and that one is is Bingo, but in hell. So everybody's familiar with Bingo. That is the one for you. You should watch it. And I liked it. Did you have a chance to watch this one, Lupe?
No, I haven't even heard of it, so I'm gonna go check it out. I don't know if I even
Yeah.
got a notice about this new show, so I'll check it out. I like that actor. He's supposed to be he's supposed to be like the new villain in Black Panther sequel,
Yeah,
I
I
think.
think so. Yeah,
And
I
he's a
think
really
so.
good actor, so
Yeah, he's really good. He's
yeah,
really
so I
good.
might check it out.
Both of them, like they are really, really good. His name is Tenoshi Huerta,
Well, there you
and
go.
yeah, he's really, really good. Like I like the concept, and also they like the way they're trying to say send not this message, but touch in this important topic, because back
Mhm.
then doctors used to sterilize women, so
Oh,
they
that's right.
didn't have kids. So
Yeah.
this is part of the discussion on the movie as well, because she
Oh,
figured out that is, I'm not gonna tell because it's spoiler.
yeah. That sounds interesting. That sounds interesting. I'll go watch
But
that.
it's interesting. And Bingo Hell, it's funny, but it's not the best one, but it's funny.
Oh, okay. All
So
right.
yeah, and what do you have for us next?
All right. We'll stick to the Latino theme. It is Latino Heritage Month. So
Yeah.
next, I'm going to be talking about On My Block. I love this show. It's aimed at kids, but I really like it because I'm from South Central. I can totally relate to this show. It's called On My Block. It's on Netflix. Season 4 just premiered. And you have these 4 kids from South Central. They're Caesar, Ruby, Monse, Jamal. You have Jasmine and Oscar. Well, for the 4 childhood friends, they live in the hood, and it's basically all about their adventures. There's supposedly this secret treasure out there, and it's funny. It's kind of like the Goonies, but like the hood version, because
Mhm.
there's this treasure out there left. It was stolen from a bank and supposedly like buried somewhere by a gangster who got killed in the process. And so they're trying to find it. And one of the kids, Abuelitas, is like in on it. She's a big pothead. It's just hilarious. And so the first 3 seasons are about these kids kind of navigating life in South Central. It's fun. There's some serious issues as well because Caesar's brother, Oscar, is in the gang. He's the head of a gang. And so there's some serious issues. There was a shooting in like episode and season 1 or 2. So there's some really emotional depth on this show. It's just not about these 4 kids, but I really enjoyed the last few seasons because it really shows life in the hood, not just drug deals and shootings, but just like normal kids trying to navigate life in this complicated society in the inner city. So this is what I really liked about the show. Now, when we come back to the kids this season, it's a little sad. None of them are friends anymore. They've all separated. One's like a jock now, so he's a real big jerk, even though he was like the big nerdy guy in the first 3 seasons. He's now this like big jock, and he has girls all over the place. And Monse went off to a boarding school paid by her dad, so she totally has dissed her old friends. And Caesar, his brother actually has given up the life of gang member, and he's trying to get Caesar out. But now Caesar's the head of the gang that he used to be part of. And so he's, it takes a really dark turn for season 4. You kind of get a little, it's kind of depressing to see these kids in this state because they were so nerdy and fun to watch. And so the first 3 episodes are a little serious. And some fans, I'm sure the fans they've already binge watched the show because it's on Netflix since Monday, I believe. And so they're rabid about the show, and I don't blame them. It's really, really fun. And then there's some deaths. This is the final season. There is some deaths, so you're gonna cry. I did shed a few tears. It was really, really sad. But happy to report, by the end of the show, it ends on a happy note. So that's good because a lot of people were really upset with the way season 3 ended because Monse and Caesar had broken up. And so he went on to the gang life. And they tried so hard for 3 seasons to get him out of, to keep him away from that life. And even his brother was like, I don't want to be part of this life. I don't want you to be part of this life. But at the same time, he was getting pulled in. But the 3 friends were trying so hard. And the reason they were looking for the money was not just to get this get rich quick scheme. They wanted to help Caesar. They wanted him to get out of the hood because they were after him. Other gang members were after him. There were some incidents that got him in trouble. And so it starts out really dark, but then by the end it gets very light. So it's a good thing because I was a little depressed the first few episodes. These kids are no longer friends, and that happens in real life,
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I watched just the season 1 for on the block, and it's on my list to watch all of them. It's unfortunate that I couldn't finish yet, but life happens.
That happens.
A lot of movies to watch, a lot of series to prepare, and then I don't know. But I always heard good stuff about it. So
yeah, it's really fun. Like I said, it's Goonies
everybody
in the hood.
should check it out.
Yeah, Goonies in the hood. So that's the best description I could give of this show because it's just so much fun. But like I said, it takes a little dark turn season 4, but in the end, it gets a little bright, and these friends kind of a happy ending. I think Netflix and the showrunners learned that they don't want a dark ending because the backlash last year after season 3 ending was pretty bad. It was like, are you kidding me? Like they fought so hard to keep this guy out of gangs, and now he's in a gang. He's the head of the gang.
I think you never know. You never know if a show is gonna have a next season. That's why I think people don't want like too dark to finish
and
too
plus,
dark. I think so.
It's one of the few shows that takes place in the hood and reflects sort of this real life in the hood, so you can't end it that way. Like there's no hope at the end of season 3. It's like all hope is lost. You're like, are you kidding me? You're bringing in a show about people of color, yet you're giving them like darkest
leaving that the really bad taste.
So it's kind of like they can't do that. So I think supposedly season 3 was going to be the last season, but I mean I don't know. I'm just speculating. But I think they had to have a final season to kind of wrap things up because you need to give hope to kids in the hood. Because even though we're trying to live, growing up in the hood, we led normal lives. Yeah, there was gang activity, but it was like, that was like a side note. It didn't define our lives. And this is what these kids do is it doesn't define their lives. It's present, but they just keep on going and they just act like every other teenager. There's a lot of sex in the show. I was like, I can't believe these high school people are having this much sex.
Yeah.
But that goes for
Everything changed.
that goes for all those young adults Netflix shows. So
Oh
the
yeah,
teens are having a
all of
lot
them,
of sex. I'm like, oh my
all
goodness.
of them.
Well, I think you have another show about friends, don't you? Coming up?
Yes, I have another show about friends, about friendship, and on Netflix. It's called Pretty Smart. It's a new sitcom that I really enjoy. It tells a story of these two sisters, but one of them lives in California, the other one lives far away, and then she moved to California, but is like very strict, like those lawyer girls that are very centric, that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have too much friends. And then she ended up going to live with her sister that is more free, more lovely, in California with her roommates. So all of them like start living in, she goes to live there, and then she started like enjoying their life. So they have a gay character. He's a vlogger. He's all the time on TikTok, on Instagram, doing live videos. We have Cynthia Carmona, which is a Latina in the show, and then she used to be a lawyer, but then she became a healer. So she played tarot cards. She plays with the crystals, with the stones, and everything else. And her name is Solana. And then we have Grant. He's he's one of the, those guys that lives in a gym. He has a gym.
Oh.
So yes, and then he's in love with Chelsea's sister,
Mm-hmm.
Claire. And then Claire is the sister that lives in California. She's the carefree. So when Chelsea arrives at the house, everybody talks like this. Everybody's so happy. Everybody's so, and then she look at her sister like, oh my God, they're all like you. You know what I mean? But then, little by little, she is starting to fit in the whole California new lifestyle. And there's a lot of like situations, a lot of things that they try to teach her, and then she also tried to teach them. And there's a lot of like laughs, and I think is another feel good series to watch. There's some sex, but not as much as this
Just
some
some?
other, nah, just a little bit, like just fun, you know what I mean, like
Mm-hmm.
those for comment, you know what I mean, not too
Mm-hmm.
much. But I really enjoy watching all of them. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
All the episodes, and then I feel good, and all episodes are gonna drop this Friday, October 8th at Netflix. So you should enjoy. I don't know if you check it out, if you like those type of like sitcoms.
No, it wasn't on my radar. Uh, Probably not. I won't put it on my watch list just because I have so much to catch up.
Oh, I
Um,
know, I know,
yeah,
I know that,
so
I know that, and
I can
it's
only do a
really,
few Friends shows.
yeah, I know. No, I understand. I understand, but I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
It's one of the feel goods. It's not as good as Acapulco, but
Oh, it's
I'll
there.
say to you, yeah,
It's
but it's
there.
good. It's a
Okay.
good. It's a different vibe from other stuff.
All
What else
right.
you have? You have something else for
I
us?
got one more.
Mhm.
I'm talking the Dave Chappelle, The Closer. This is actually the last Netflix special he's going to do. I believe he's got like four in the can. This is the fifth one, or this is the fourth one. So he's done with his Netflix deal. And here you get your usual brand of comedy, Dave Chappelle. And this one's different. Most of his previous ones, he has tied him to like current events, like what's going on in the world. But in this one, he really does focus on some of the controversy surrounding him. Like a lot of people have called him transphobic and woman hater. And so he addresses a lot of that stuff. He also addressed supposedly this fight that happened at a club with a woman.
Hmm.
And he claims he didn't know it was a woman until later, but then she threw the first punch. So he uses a lot of the comedy, a lot of the special here to kind of address like how people view him and kind of defend himself in a funny way. So it's very interesting to see how, because people throw labels all the time, like, oh, he's transphobic, oh, he hates women. I never really thought he hated women. I think people misconstrue his humor
Yeah.
a lot of times, I think, because it's, his language is very, very brash. And a lot of people don't like it. He throws the N-word all the time. I was never really comfortable with that word. And so he throws it all the time. But when I watch Dave Chappelle, it's a given that you're going to hear that word. So yeah, it's interesting. He talks about space Jews. He does mention some police brutality. He calls himself, interesting enough, feminist, because he looked up the definition of a feminist, and doesn't necessarily have to be a woman. It can be just anybody who supports those issues. And so I think it's different for him, this show. And I think he does it, obviously, with a lot of harsh language, and it's funny. And there's some things you laugh at that you probably shouldn't be laughing at because they're just so wrong in the way he says it. But, he does have a point. I think that's the point of his humor here, is that he's showing that he's a comic and he's got jokes, and his style is very harsh, and some people will will be insulted.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. I mean, his brand of humor is obviously acquired taste. If you like him, you're going to enjoy this. And the fact that he addresses a lot of the controversy surrounding himself, I really liked it, because a lot of his defense was actually made sense. Like, people misconstrue him. They'll just hear like one little joke out of context and they'll call him a name.
Yeah, but I think it's everywhere. People, sometimes you're doing, some actors are talking about something and then they get just one phrase or one word of everything put out of context.
Out of context, yeah.
And of course, it's kind of difficult, I will check it out. I need to check it out. You see,
I recommend it. Like, if you like his brand of humor, I think it's really interesting because he addresses a lot of those, controversies surrounding his humor, but he's always been a controversial figure. I mean, you can't say anything, but a lot of, some of the stuff he says in this other special were so true. There were just some things that were like, he talks about history, and he's a smart guy. I think he knows what he's talking about, and makes a lot of sense. And I don't know, I really like this guy. Smart, foul mouth, but smart. Exactly. And I recommend it.
Yeah, I'll check it out. I'll put on my list. You see, a lot of stuff to watch. But
a lot of stuff to watch. But both of us can agree Acapulco is our pick for the week. Go check it out, support it. Hopefully, it gets a second season.
I hope so.
Great actors everywhere, all around in that show. And so, go check that one out.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all we have for this week.
Yes, all good stuff. And then a lot coming up, there is a lot, oh my God, a lot of like movies, a lot of like series coming up. And I don't know.
We'll be talking about it here.
Yes, pretty soon.
Pretty soon. So in the meantime, make sure to follow us, tell all your friends, share these videos, and I guess have a great weekend binging.
Yeah. And check it out, the other shows in our Hollywood Critics Association YouTube channel. And have a great watching.
And we'll see you in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks.
All right.
Bye. Thank you.
Jana.
Bye.